Italy is home to some of the best foods in the world, with the 5 towns of Cinque Terre having some great food and amazing views. In this video, we're eating our way through these 5 towns to show you some of the best foods to try when you visit Cinque Terre. We'll start this food tour in Cinque Terre's largest town, Monterosso. Being the northernmost town and the only village in Cinque Terre with sandy beaches, it has a wide range of restaurants to accommodate the vast number of travelers that stay here. After arriving on one of the most scenic train rides of our lives, we wandered up and down these quaint streets to find a quick local bite to eat. And with this part of Italy being the birthplace of focaccia bread, we knew we needed to visit one of the area's best focacciarias.
We are in Monterosso and we just picked up this amazing looking focaccia sandwich. We saw them making the focaccia fresh in the back. The staff was so friendly joking around with us. And I could probably learn a thing or two from them because I've tried making focaccia myself and I've blown it. It's come out flat and hard and crusty. So to see it so tender and fluffy here, I am so excited to try this. It looks like it comes with tomato, turkey, and I think even basil on there. So it looks really light and refreshing on a hot day in Cinque Terre like today. So I'm gonna dive in and have the first bite here. Those tomatoes are so refreshing. They're so watery, but still have so much flavor to them. It almost tastes like a tomato basil salad, but in a sandwich form. That's a delightfully refreshing sandwich. This place had 4.7 stars, and I clearly see why. The food's amazing, the people were super nice, and it was actually pretty cheap too. I think this is a really affordable sandwich. So in a real vacation-y area, to get a bite this good for this cheap, absolutely worth checking out.
So we are absolutely loving this sandwich. I am a huge focaccia lover. For a while we were actually buying the focaccia mix at Trader Joe's, and I think one time I ate that entire focaccia pan by myself. So I'm definitely a focaccia lover, and this is probably one of the best I've ever had. It's perfectly salty on the top crust of it, and they used an amazing amount of rosemary to season it up, so we are both very happy.
With our focaccia fix satisfied, we continued exploring the Monterosso village. With many quaint cafes and coffee shops lining these picture-perfect Italian streets, we decided it was the perfect time to try another iconic delicacy Cinque Terre is known for. For this, we tracked down a 57-year-old bakery and ordered their most famous item on the menu. So while in Monterosso, we had to stop by for one of the most famous dishes here. We've heard all about this. This is Torta Monterossina. I actually have no idea what it is, but it looks like it's a very iconic cake here in this town in Cinque Terre. It looks like it's chocolate and maybe a little cheesy in the back. I actually have no idea what this is gonna taste like. It might even be berries, I have no idea. So we're just gonna dive in and see what it's like. All right, here goes nothing. Oh my gosh. I see why that's a classic here. That's really good. It's almost like chocolate chips melted in pudding with a little creaminess to it, and then sandwiched between 2 really firm yet like semi-sweet bread slices to make the crust. It's a really unique slice of cake. I really like it actually. Have another bite here. It's just a little warm. It's almost like a s'more. We sat down and did a little bit of research on what makes this cake so good. We actually think there's custard and I believe apricot jam in there to make it just really creamy and sweet. And each town in Cinque Terre makes their own variety of this cake. So this one is called Monterossina, and that's why it has these ingredients. But if you want to try them all, go to different towns and you'll see the different varieties of this amazing cake. It's amazing.
With carbs and sugar coursing through our veins, we had energy to continue exploring the other towns of Cinque Terre. We first headed to Vernazza, where we worked up an appetite hiking to some amazing viewpoints. We also took a train to Riomagiorre to find its cozy harbor and watch some daredevil cliff jumpers. We have a video coming out soon that's a complete travel guide to Cinque Terre, where we cover the best things to do, see, and key tips to optimize your trip. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Next up on the food tour, we're headed back to our home base for a lunch with a view in our favorite town in Cinque Terre, Manarola. And before we dive into the next spot on the food tour, we want to offer a big thanks to our partner for this video, Mint Mobile. One of the best ways that you can save money for travel is to reduce your recurring costs. And have you ever really considered how much your phone plan's costing you? Big Wireless wants you to justify your expensive phone plan with features like speed, coverage, data, access to 5G, unlimited talk and text, and mobile hotspots. But you can get all of those features for as low as $15 a month with Mint Mobile. One of the ways that they're able to do this is that they sell direct, cutting out the cost of retail stores and salespeople. For us, cell coverage and reliability is really important to us while we travel. And Mint Mobile's built on the nation's largest 5G network. We've used Mint Mobile, and whether we're streaming YouTube or listening to podcasts on the go, we've never noticed a difference while on Mint's network. And switching to Mint is super easy and only takes about 15 minutes. Thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones now have, you can sign up and activate immediately right from your phone and from the comfort of your own home. And if your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. Go to our partner at mintmobile.com/sharingtheroad or click the link below to get premium wireless for as low as $15 a month. Thank you to Mint Mobile for partnering with us on this video. Now let's jump back to Cinque Terre. With pesto being famous in this region, and the city that invented it just being an hour away, pesto is more than just a sauce in Cinque Terre. It's part of the culture. We saw tons of shops selling fresh homemade pesto, so we knew we had to give it a try. So we sat down on our balcony to take in those seaside views and enjoy this classic green dish. So we're currently on the balcony of our beautiful Airbnb here in Manarola, and for lunch we have something that's quite special to this region. So we've seen fresh homemade pesto everywhere here in Manarola, and all across the towns of Cinque Terre you can actually take pesto making classes as well. So we're pretty sure this is about as fresh as it gets in terms of pesto and as authentic as it gets. So we actually just picked up this pesto fresh from one of the mini markets down in Manarola. We've actually gotten it quite a few times by now. We pretty much go in there every day to get it because it's just so good, and it's actually a pretty reasonable cost too. It's just under €2 for 100 grams, which if you're American that might mean nothing to you, but basically it's good for about 2 to 4 portions, and you don't need much of it for a pretty powerful taste. So here we just threw it on some penne, and I'm gonna go in for a bite here. It is so incredibly fresh. We're used to pesto that's pretty oily, which is good on occasion, but this just hits you with a freshness of all of the herbs that are used to create it. And we've also noticed it's pretty salty here as well, which we absolutely love. And like I said, just a little bit goes pretty far, so the flavors hit you pretty powerfully. It's almost creamy even though there's no cream in it. It's pretty much all you need to dress up some cheap noodles or even just sandwiches. So if you're in Cinque Terre and you're looking to whip up your own food and looking for something that's authentic and cheap, definitely check out the fresh pesto here. It's absolutely amazing. And maybe even consider taking a class to learn how to make it because it is so good.
Our next stop on the food tour takes us to a spot where we'll have to earn our meal, and that's Corniglia. Being the only town in Cinque Terre that's not located on the sea, the walk up to Corniglia is an exhausting trek up switchbacking stairs. So it should come as no surprise that once we reached the top and started exploring this town's charming and less crowded medieval streets, we really had worked up an appetite. Given this town is known for its breathtaking views, we wanted to find a highly rated spot where we could eat and enjoy some great mountain and sea views. For this, we headed to grab some food from Andre Corniglia.
We stopped for a sandwich lunch break. We're really excited to try this place. This actually had 4.9 stars on Google, but we've heard these are the best sandwiches in the area. So we're gonna see if that's true here. Each of these were €5 a piece, which I think is pretty reasonable. We kind of expected Cinque Terre to be really expensive, but I think that might just be the sit-down fancy restaurants. I think you can get by here pretty affordably. We've been cooking at home a little bit and just getting kind of like grab and go food, and it's been really good and pretty inexpensive. And also the guy was so nice inside, and we have this gorgeous terrace to eat these sandwiches on. He pretty much just told us just wait outside on the terrace while he made our sandwiches, and we can eat them here too. So great view for a €5 sandwich. So for my sandwich I got, I think what's called just the mozzarella sandwich. It has tomato, mozzarella, pesto, and maybe basil on there. So super excited to try this, and the bread looks absolutely amazing. All right, so going in. Wow, it's a pretty simple sandwich, but you're hit with so many different fresh flavors in there. I think the star of the show has to be that fresh homemade pesto, which we've been seeing everywhere in Cinque Terre. We are absolutely pesto obsessed, so we pretty much gravitate towards anything with pesto. So we are just in heaven here. And man, this is really good. And it's a lot of food too. It also looks like the Italian flag, so very fitting.
So I went with a sandwich called La Mortella. Actually, when I tried ordering it in there, they kept thinking I was ordering the same sandwich as Courtney, saying mozzarella, but this is Mortella, and it looks really good. One of the things when we're traveling, we sometimes have a hard time finding vegetables, and this one looks like it's got good arugula on there, pesto, basil, and what we think is maybe turkey or ham. I'm not entirely sure. We've not been disappointed with any of the sandwich meats here in Italy, and this one does not look like it's going to disappoint. I'm only going for my first bite right now. Oh, wow. The bread has a really nice crunch to it, and I think there's mozzarella, pesto on there as well, so there's a lot of flavors happening in that sandwich. All in all, though, not a really heavy sandwich. I feel like sometimes you go to Subway or you go to Quiznos or something, they really make your sandwich really oily and heavy, and even though this has so many ingredients, it still feels so light and fresh.
So that wraps up our Cinque Terre food tour. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel to see our upcoming travels from Europe and all over the world. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one. Ciao!